We're on day 34. I'm staying on a chair because I wanted to start out by explaining that there's no rules. You can do whatever you want whenever you want to do it, type of thing. It doesn't really matter. I did have an idea that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and hopefully the video will focus more on me. That's a lot better. So, I have an idea that I'm planning on doing this weekend, or at least trying out. I've been actually experimenting with these things over the past, I'd say, a couple of months, actually, more or less. It's essentially me going out and just kind of doing daily vlogs, talking with strangers, doing what I would do normally with, like, whenever I would have a day off, essentially, like those type of activities that I would be doing. I figure I might as well go do those and actually record what I am doing, or at least try to record what I'm doing. So it's like I have this plan and I'm going to map it out a little bit more to make sure that I can actually solidify it in the specific process. Maybe not even 100%, but like this past weekend, like I was telling you 2 weeks ago, I believe, went to the Anime Expo. Actually had the GoPro. Actually did the holding of the GoPro, which I would bring it over here, but it's charging and transferring media over. And then just the other day too, like when I was on my walk, I was like, let's take the GoPro, let's start small, like expose myself to this type of content creation and see if it's something that I could actually do. Whenever I go back and like rewatch the video, it brings me joy. It brings me like, wow, I actually did this. Like I get to relive that moment again. So I ended up actually paying one of the freelance workers that I have on Upwork to edit the series or the video from the Anime Expo that I went to a couple weeks ago to see what he can do. If he can do a good job, then I might just let him edit all these videos that I'm going to be having moving forward. Essentially, my plan, my idea is to take on or just like go out into like random places and be like, hey, I'm just talking with people, or I make YouTube videos where I just talk with people. Like we talk about whatever we want to talk about. Wherever the conversation goes is where the conversation goes. There's no objective. It's more of just like being authentic and showing that there are so kind and caring and compassionate people out there in the world. So it's like we're never actually truly alone. It's essentially the goal that I'm wanting to achieve or show or showcase, essentially. So I was listening to this other video this morning from the Healthy Gamer community on YouTube, essentially, and he was talking about how it's like we go through these things. We have karmas, we have dharmas, we have certain aspects of ourselves that we have to go through to be able to become the type of person that we need to be able to provide the lessons or the stories or the experiences to help other people not have to go through the exact same thing. So with that being said, like I was watching one video and then I watched another video by Patty Sorrento, I believe. Peter Sentinello. I cannot say his last name, but he essentially like does like these daily vlogs or weekly vlogs where he travels around to different like areas or communities, and he just talks with people. Like he just showcases what they do, and it's like that's what I've been wanting to do with the people that I interact with, because the people that I run into, like they're absolutely amazing, spectacular individuals. Like nothing compares to what somebody else's story is. Nothing compares to like the experiences that they've gone through. And I want to be able to share more of those experiences with the world, essentially. It takes time. It takes effort. But when I see somebody else like him doing it, it's like he's doing it with all these other people, and he's only touching a very small minority, small grasp of people that have stories to share, that have stories or things to say. So I figure I might as well try the exact same thing. I might as well try, just see if I can. Like, just go up to Breckenridge this week and go talk with a complete stranger and just be like, hey, like, I make YouTube videos where I talk with strangers and I just kind of post them online and share your story, because I feel like everybody has a story to say and most people aren't willing to listen to somebody else talk about their story. So I really have no objective with this story. It's just I want to have a conversation. I want to hear about your life. I want to hear about your experiences. I want to hear about what you've been through. And I want to share that with everybody else online, because I do believe that there's a way to help fill the void of what we've been missing in society today. Because a lot of what we see in society today seems to be all this negativity. It seems to be all this doubt, this fear, this uncertainty, when in reality there's so many nice and kind people out there in the world. And I just want to share that with everybody else, because everybody seems, at least people that I've run into, seem to always go down this negative route of, oh, I feel this way, or this is how things are, and we're so disconnected. But it's just like, if we just go out and actually talk with people and actually just It shows that things aren't as bad as we thought they were. And I like to be able to help somebody else out that might be in a similar situation where they feel alone. And this is the best way that I know how to do that is by being that light, by being that connector of people. That we just don't seem to have nowadays. Because after the pandemic, after the news, after the media, after the shutdowns, after social media, disconnected people, and I feel like it's made it so people aren't willing or wanting to ask questions of other people. So that's why I've started small. That's why I started just going out and just asking the conversations, just asking the questions. Like, hey, if I came up to you and was like, hey, do you want to do a video with me? Would you want to have a conversation? People that I've run into is like, yes. If I had a day just like this, I don't see why I wouldn't. And I've gone up to other people and just been like, hey, how's your day treating you? Or what ideas do you have in mind? And I've been able to do this over the past couple of months to actually see if this has to actually see if this is something that I can do. And the feedback that I've received, it's been unlike anything else that I've ever done beforehand. Because when I tried doing content before, I think I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I feel like I was doing it for the wrong reasons. Whereas now, I genuinely just want to connect with people on a deeper level and show that, like, hey, no matter where you are at in your life, you can make friends. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be impossible. It can actually be quite simple. It's just a matter of putting yourself out there and going to those certain situations that maybe make you feel uncomfortable. And it's starting small. It's building your way up to that point to where you can have a deeper connection with somebody else. You can build those relationships even after you're out of high school or college or working your 9-to-5 job. Because a lot of us are, I would say, lonely once we get out of college. We don't have maybe that same friend group, that same basic community of people that we once were a part of when we were in school. So once we get out of school and say we're working remotely or whatever it may be, you don't have those same people, those same, I guess, connections. And that's why, like, I set out to just make friends and connect with anybody anywhere I was at. Because people are like, how do you do these things by yourself all the time? Doesn't it get lonely? It would. If I didn't have everybody else. If it wasn't for every kind person that I've run into, yeah, it'd be lonely. If I didn't have strangers, if I didn't have the kindness of others, it would have been 10 times harder for me to get to this point. So I figure I might as well share the connections and the kindness that's out there today. Because there are so many kind and compassionate and loving and caring people. There really is. Like, if you're in a bind or you need help, people come together. The media doesn't show that. The media shows how separated we are, how torn apart we are. But if you just go outside and you just talk with people, you go to the bar, you go on a walk, you sit on a bench, whatever it may be, you go do yoga or to the gym, somebody's going to come up and talk with you. Somebody's going to want to connect with you or have a conversation with you. It's just, I know how difficult it was for me to be able to get out of that headspace of nobody enjoys my company, nobody wants me around, or whatever it may have been that I had going on internally. And hopefully, like, for this story to resonate with somebody else, somebody that's struggling in their life, somebody that's struggling with overcoming whatever they need to overcome. Because as men, we're told that emotions are weakness. Emotions are something that we aren't supposed to show because it shows that we are weak and we can't handle the things. It's just, that's not the case. And that's why I'm going to go do what I know how to do best, which is talk. Like, I know how to communicate. I know how to break the ice. I know how to bounce back from rejection. So clearly there's going to be people, obviously, that do say that they don't want to have this conversation, or it's like, what are you doing, or whatever it may be, but that's okay. Not everybody wants to have this. It's just those that do, those are the ones that I'm wanting to reach. Those are the ones that I, hopefully, by me sharing this and doing this type of content, it'll fill that void that you have inside, or it'll hopefully maybe inspire you to try something new that you never thought you would do. I never thought I'd practice yoga. I never thought I'd be doing daily vlogs necessarily. But like, I had an idea of wanting to be able to make content, of wanting to be able to spread positivity and inspire people to chase their dreams. I just didn't guess I didn't know exactly how I'd be doing that. And now I'm seeing firsthand that, like, it's through the interactions that I have with others. It's through the interactions and connections that I run into with the strangers that I meet, because the conversations that I have, the people that I interact with, like, I don't know anybody else. None of my other friends seem to know it either. They're like, how do you do this? I'm like, how do you not do this? So I figure the best way for me to be able to demonstrate or provide the experiences that I have is actually document the exact same thing through video footage. Is it scary? Does it terrify me? Yes. It's just, am I willing to put myself through the fear? Yes. Because I don't want anybody to have to feel like they're alone in this world, because nobody is ever truly alone. Nobody is. It's just with the media, with social media, with everything nowadays, Netflix, whatever you want to call it, working remote, it makes us feel disconnected. It makes us feel alone, when in reality, we aren't. Like, as long as we have a purpose, or we want to talk with somebody, or we have an idea, whatever it may be, like, all I can do is say share it. Some people, like, at least from what I've been able to hear, and a couple of DMs that I sent over to some other people too for what I was trying to do with the coaching program, there's going to be some haters, and that's just part of it. Like, I mean, it's the same thing with what I did with selling. Like, not everybody loves, some people will tell me to pound sand, but then other people are like, wow, you've completely saved and transformed my business. So it's the same thing with these videos that I do. Is it's not necessarily to change your idea. Like, if it does change your way of thinking and it changes what you think is possible, then cool. Otherwise, I'm going to keep doing what I do best, which is talk with people, ask questions, be inquisitive, be authentic, and be genuine, because it doesn't seem like my heart's been corrupted by the greed or what other people have told me. And I know there's other people out there that have the same feeling, have had the same, I guess, epiphany come to them. So, yeah, it's a lot of hard work. But it's what I had to do to be able to get to this point. Is the things that I've had to go through. The lonely nights, the questioning of making it through, the failed relationships, the solitude, the physical exercise. Everything that I've gone through has been able to bring me to this point. Because I had faith. I trusted. Like, I just knew that deep down what I was doing was the right thing. I knew that no matter what somebody said, the one negative comment, the one negative person that would be like, you aren't living your life the right way, or you need to leave, or you need to do XYZ thing, I didn't let that discourage me, because there was 10 other people behind that single person that was like, you're doing a great job, you're going to make it. Those are complete strangers. The kindness of strangers. Like, nothing compares. You have one conversation with one person, you're actually genuinely interested in that person. That person will tell you the craziest, most amazing things. You'll learn so much. At least I have. I've been able to learn so much from people that I don't even know. And I'll probably never see them again. Just they've taught me so much. Every person I run into teaches me so much. And that's why I figure I might as well send it. Like, I might as well give it a try, see what happens. Get this last paycheck from my job, take this next week off, dedicate my life to this, and trust in God, trust in faith, trust in the universe, trust in myself. Because if I had my note in here right now, I wrote a note on my birthday about, what month is it, 9? So 4 months ago, saying that I've been able to prove to myself that I've been able to do everything else, so why not do this? At least that's essentially what it was. I'm betting on myself. I've bet on other people. Some people let me down. Other people surprised me. I just figured I might as well bet on myself. Bet on me. Because I know I won't let myself down. I know I won't let myself fail. Every job that I've ever been in, I succeed in every way that I possibly can. It's just me bouncing back from like this and then my other 9-to-5 job. It's tough. It's very difficult doing both when all I want to do is just create, talk with people. So that's why, like I said, I'm going to go out to the mountains this weekend, tomorrow, and I'm going to try it. I figure what I can do is have the GoPro out and just be like, hey, I'm making a YouTube video where I talk with strangers. would you like to be in this video? And if they're like, yeah, that's awesome. And it's like, cool. Or it's like, yeah, I would. It's like, okay, cool. Like, all I really want to do is I just want to spend the day with you. That's it. Ask you some questions, maybe along the way, but I just want to document my time just spent doing whatever you guys would do today. Don't really have any objective. I never really have with my days. I've just kind of gone with the flow, and it always seems to turn out in the way that it needs to. I just kind of trust in the events. So if you guys are willing to let me just tag along and just make a video of us doing whatever you guys would be doing, I think that'd be fantastic. Then if they ask, like, why do you do videos like this, or what's your objective, or whatever it may be, and all I have to do is be like, I feel like a lot of people nowadays are disconnected thanks to social media once they leave school, or just like working remote, whatever it may be. I think it's difficult for people to make friends because the media seems to push, and I haven't watched a lot of media lately, so this could have changed. But the media seems to push this narrative that everybody's disconnected. People aren't wanting to communicate with one another. The town's so bad, XYZ thing, whatever it may be. And I just want to, I guess, tell the story, explain, exaggerate. I probably should need a word for that. I just want to, I guess, demonstrate that there are kind people out there, that there are good people that are willing to help, people that want to include people that maybe alone, may struggle making friends because of what they see online of other people living this extraordinary life. And I just want to be the person that connects everyday people with one another. Like, I just want to be the person that's like, hopefully maybe there can be more people that are willing to go out alone and try something and maybe have a connection with somebody else that they might not have originally talked to at like the bar or whatever it may be. So tonight what I'm going to do, because I'm grabbing a drink with one of my friends tonight as well, I'm going to bring the GoPro with me, just to bring it with me. If I use it, cool. If not, no worries. I was partially wanting to grab like a lavalier microphone, but baby steps. We'll do baby steps. Right now, it's just a matter of getting the GoPro, and for me to be able to get to this place, essentially what I did was, like, one day I just stepped out of my apartment while recording with the GoPro in my hand, and I was terrified. Like, I was petrified just to do that small little act, because I used to, when I was living in Grand Junction, I would walk around with this camera, like on one of those tripod things, and I'm like, this is just very intrusive. Like, having this in your face all the time, to me, just feels very intrusive. So, and I would do it when I was out in the middle of the desert, so there wasn't anybody around. There was no judgment to be had, because nature doesn't judge. Nature's just nature. Whereas, like, you get out into public and it seems like everybody judges you, but it's all really an internal thing. Like, I was just judging myself of what I thought other people would say or react to the things that I was doing. But as long as I'm good in my own mind and I know who I am, regardless of what anybody says, it's not going to affect me, because I know who I am as a person. I know what I've been through. And you can't question, like, people can't question what I have experienced, because I've experienced that. And I can't let that stop me. The fear of what somebody else is gonna think stop me from doing my purpose, stop me from inspiring others to be better. It's been a rough road, to say the least. It's been probably the best road that I've ever traveled. And I'm going to continue traveling until the day I die. So even if this idea doesn't work, I'll just try something again. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And again. Until I find the thing that does. It's just, this time it feels different. It feels like this is what I'm supposed to do. It feels like this is what I've been called to do, is connect people again. Bring people together. Even if I'm only temporarily there, that's okay. Like I'm good with that because I know my people. I know my brothers. I know they're there, and I know my future wife. I know she's there too. I just have to do this first before I can have that. And I'm good with that. Because I need to rebuild. I need to show that it's not as bad as people are led to believe. Because I thought it was bad too. I thought it was hard to make small talk with people. I thought it was hard to build relationships. I thought it was hard to do I thought it was hard to go to the gym or ride my bike or practice yoga or hike a mountain or meditate. Like, I thought it was hard. And it was at first. Just the more I did it, the easier it became. And that's why I know that me doing this, me going through this process, and me creating something from the ground up, it will work. Because from the biking that I've done, when I first started, I could barely make it up a hill without almost passing out from hyperventilating, it felt like. A couple weeks later, I can climb that hill no problem and get my breath back in a matter of seconds. It's the same thing with doing this content. As long as I do it correctly and consistently, and I have those hooks, and I not even have the hooks, I do what I'm passionate about. I have the conversations that I genuinely want to have, not that I think other people want me to have. Because whenever I have genuine conversations with people and I'm just genuinely curious about how this person feels or what this person is thinking, it changes the conversation. Because we go down different routes that we might not have originally gone down. Because I'm not here to judge them, and they're not here to judge me. We're quite literally just two people trying to figure it out. And that's why I don't watch like the news or keep up with current events or politics anymore. Because it's all negativity. It's all trying to bring down a certain person. Like, you have people saying that white men are the problem, and then you have other people saying that Asians or blacks or Hispanics or all these other races are the problem, and it's like, or straight men or homosexuals or transgenders or whatever it may be. It's like, these people are all the problem. It's like, they aren't the problem. You know what the problem is? Ignorance. If people just saw and witnessed that it doesn't matter what this person looks like or how they talk or who they are, they're the exact same as you and I. They aren't any different. They have their own fears and successes and triumphs and traumas and depressions and anxieties and whatever they may have inside of them. Everybody's dealing with the same thing. In media nowadays, it's pushing a negative outlook on the world. It's pushing, depending on where you come from and what you believe in, we could use multiple different words. We could use the darkness is trying to take over, the devil's trying to take over. I want to say yang, I think it is. Yen. Yang's dark. The yang is trying to take over. Like, these bad dark forces are trying to take over. And it's like, there needs to be that light, the yin, God, kindness, passion, gratitude, positivity that's out there as well. So when I have conversations with people, like, I'm asking questions, it's just there's always going to be those people that haven't dealt or don't want to deal with their some scars, their traumas, their demons themselves. They don't want to look at themselves in the mirror and ask, like, who am I? What am I here to do? A lot of people that, because I was kind of the same way, I guess. Like, I just took things for surface value, and then I ended up leaving and going off to college. I was like, there's more to this. Like, there's actual connections and people that I can communicate and talk with. Yeah. I just figure I might as well go have the conversation, interact with, I don't know, we'll see. I mean, just go have a conversation, go out to Breckenridge by myself, because the thing is, like, dude, you texted one of your friends. I texted one of my friends. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go out to Breckenridge to film a video. Do you want to come? And he's like, no, I don't want to come. Well, he didn't say that. He already had plans. Because, like, I do things very last minute, which is why I typically end up doing things on my own, because I don't plan very far in advance. I'm much more of a spontaneous type of guy where it's like, all right, I'm just going to go like, this is where I feel like I need to be today, so this is what I'm going to go do. And then I end up going and doing that specific thing. If it doesn't feel right, then it doesn't feel right, and I don't end up doing it. But, like, I've been doing this whole thing for the past 4 or 5 years on my own, and it's gotten me this far. It's gotten me to this point. Like, I mean, I've been on my own. I haven't really necessarily been on my own because, like I said earlier, like, I had people to talk to, like at the gym. I would make friends with people at the gym. It's just most people that I know, most of my friends that I've interacted with, whenever we go out in public, they don't say anything to anybody else. So I don't know how people make friends nowadays. I genuinely don't. Like, I know how I make friends. I make friends by just, if I want to go make a friend or I want to have somebody to talk to, I'll go to the bar. Or I'll go on a walk, or I'll go to the park, and I'll be like, hey, this person looks cool. Let me go start up a conversation with them. So I figure I might as well do that now. Just document it instead. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see what I have a good feeling about this. It just feels different this time, you guys. Like, it feels different from everything else that I've ever done beforehand. And that's why, like, I know that I'm able to, like, leave my job at the end of September. Like, I'm going to take this next week off, like I said. Put in my 2 weeks as of September 1st, more or less. And I just also got a raise of $15,000, more or less. It was $14,000 to be exact. Well, $14,500 to be exact, I believe was what it was. Which, yeah, $14,500. So I thought about that first. I was like, let's think about holding a check worth $15,000 or having plus $15,000 in my bank account. And then I get that. Not even 5 days later. It's also the same thing with, like, me and the promotion. I could have got promoted up to the next tier at my current company that I work for. It's just I wasn't sure if that was a place that I wanted to actually be. So I was able to get myself to be able to go out on a trip out there, and then I was able to also be on the boat by myself when people were partying upstairs, which I also thought about out when I was in the desert in Moab on my birthday. I wanted to test it, and then having the same conversation of somebody come home and be like, yeah, certain things just manifest in different ways, and you can use manifest, you can use whatever word that you want to. It's just coming to the realization that I have been able to come to where it's like the mind and body are two completely different, like, they aren't really separate necessarily. I can go into that in a whole nother video on a different day when I even have a better understanding of it. Like, I'm still, as you can tell, working through it. But yeah, it's like I got that 15,000. So if I was able to do that, why not try this as well? I can see this working. I can see this growing. I can see this having an impact. I can see this bringing good to people. I can see this hopefully, well, no, I can. I can see this inspiring people to do something that I never thought that they could do. And I can even start to bring in other clips of, like, hey, this is where I was at, this is what I was doing, or whatever it may be. Like, there's a multitude of different options that I can take. I just figure might as well go do what I'm best at. And what I'm best at is breaking the ice, starting up conversations. Like, there's even a time when I was snowboarding with one of my friends, And we were just sitting at the table before the lift opened, essentially. And I just started up a conversation with a guy right behind the table behind me. Like, I don't know people that do that. And some people may think that's weird. And if they think that's weird, okay, that's fine. That's good. Let them. Because if it wasn't for the kindness of strangers, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So I just want to share the same thing with everybody else out there. See how this does. See where it goes. Just put my faith, have my trust, believe in myself, believe in what I can achieve, and just kind of continue to learn and grow from there. So, see you guys tomorrow when I do the next day. I think it's day 34 or something like that. 35. And I'll give you an update on how yesterday went. And like I said, may send this over to the freelancer, may do it myself. We'll see, but it's going to be bare bones, very dry. Like, not dry, but like, it's just going to be quite literally like a podcast, but out in real life, more or less, like with the random stranger that I just met that day. Maybe it might transform into some other things. We'll see. But if my friends want to come along, they're more than welcome to. It's just a lot of people that I have been talking to, like, they believe in me. They need to see the proof. Because I told my sister, I was like, yeah, come work for me. I told my mom, like, hey, come work for me. I told my best friend, like, hey, dude, come work for me. And they're just like, I can't, don't really want to. So that's why essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get the proof. Like, I see it up here. It's already happened. Like, it's already done. That's the fantastic part. I just have to create it here so that everybody else can see it. And then it's like, hey, here you go, Mom. You can retire. You don't have to work anymore. I love you to death. You take this. It's like, hey, sis, you want this new car? You want a job? You don't want to be working at home? Like, here you go. We can work together on this. My best friend, it's like, dude, you want to be a part of this? You don't know what you want to do. Like, you have all these different ideas. Like, I always did as well, too. Like, come work for me and we'll make this happen. So I've got these ideas. I'm going to make it happen. Yeah. It's the crazy the roads that we had to travel to be able to get to the place, to the destination. Not even the destination, but be able to get to this realization, be able to get to this place of, I guess, clarity, peace of mind. And yeah. So on that note, see you guys tomorrow.